Tauseef in Dubai. I have 9 years experience in the trade finance division of a conventional bank. What should I do to join an Islamic bank?
Well, I think once again, consistent with the other questions, is that you have to get product knowledge, and in terms of trade finance, this is something that is often, and this is the function of a trade finance department. It would be very consistent with the Islamic bank's trade finance department, with additional, once again, caveat being that certain conditions are followed with regards to the Shariah in terms of the nature of the LCs and various other things that are usually audited by the Shariah department.
Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to wrap up with a little bit about Ethica, and then we're going to go to our live Q&A. So inshallah, okay, so we're just going to go to live Q&A just after we just tell you a little bit about the Ethica program. We have more training than anyone, and that grows on a weekly basis. This is actually not the entire list of our training and certification modules, but down the left side of the columns you see the modules you need to complete in order to get your CIFE, the Certified Islamic Finance Executive. And that's the certificate, which is actually framed and couriered to you. So an opportunity to hang that up on your office or study. And like we mentioned, our relationship goes beyond certification. It's standardized, approved by leading scholars, and we are, to our knowledge, the only institute in the world that bases its content on AOFI, the Accounting and Auditing Organization for Islamic Financial Institutions. And our Ethica recruiter database fast tracks your CV to various banks, and our one-on-one career counseling sits you with a subject matter expert to try to find you the best direction and answer your questions in terms of career growth. More people choose Ethica's CIFE than any other Islamic finance certificate, alhamdulillah. So we are #1 in customer rankings. We have a 100% user satisfaction rate. Everyone's come away satisfied, and if you're not satisfied, you have a 30-day guarantee. What we're going to do at the very end, after our live session, is give, obviously, all of you a downloadable version of our video, Why Islamic Finance, which skyrocketed up the Islamic finance charts to #1, which there's not too many Islamic finance videos, so I guess that wasn't too hard, but alhamdulillah, it got a great reception. So you're going to get a downloadable version of that video, and 3 lucky attendees will show you how at the very, very end how to get the one-on-one career counseling, and also to get the special offer for Ethica CIFE training and certification. So now we'll go to live questions, and we'll wrap up, inshallah. How much time have we used up already? Okay, we've got 30 minutes left. In this time, we're going to answer your questions live, and we will begin okay, with this question. Okay. Anis asks, I have a very good experience in fixed income products and a good knowledge of Islamic finance. How can I join an Islamic finance institution? My aim is to work on the structuring of Islamic finance products in terms of structuring. So I think, Yusuf, you'd be a good person to answer that.
Yeah, well, I think much of what we've answered already probably would answer the bulk of the questions posed by the listeners here. This is once again something that consistent with your previous questions, the point being that the person who's asked the question has some experience in what would be conventional banking. He's probably got theoretical experience of Islamic banking and wants to make the transition. And the way to do that, we've mentioned, would probably involve supplementing your experience with either a qualification of some sort, putting the word Islamic finance on your CV, and simply applying to the banks and trying to take that first break. And maybe that first break may involve a sacrifice of some sort, or it may not involve a sacrifice of some sort, but as part of a transition, the experience that you've had, even though fixed income specifically in the way it's done is probably not consistent with the Islamic banking. There are products within Islamic banking that economically are similar in the way they're done, provided they follow certain aspects of the Sharia. And so it would just be, it wouldn't necessarily be something that would be of detriment.
Okay. Hamidul Hanan has a question to Atif. I have gone through some research about Islamic banking and finance. What I've seen that it is very slowly growing, and what I heard that it is very hard for Islamic banks to enter into the banking field in Canada. You have already told that Canada is thinking about that. What is your comment in thinking about Islamic banking in Canada? So what I would like, basically, what's happened is that Canada has shifted its interest in Islamic finance into high gear with a number of conferences, as well as interest from banks and regulators. And what that means for people who are, whether they're professionals or students, it means obviously opportunities. Now, these opportunities have also been followed by the academic institutions. Centennial, Ryerson, Rotman at University of Toronto, McGill, a number of universities have either expressed their interest in launching an Islamic finance course or have already launched an Islamic finance course. Now, in terms of experience, one second, let me just go back to your question to make sure that I... Okay. Your experience, it doesn't mention in your question whether you have experience in banking, but I'll assume that you have no experience in Islamic finance and perhaps no experience in banking in general. But if you do have experience, obviously that's great. What I would do is I would, in Canada specifically, approach the big five banks, because in varying degrees, all of them behind the scenes are doing something right now in Islamic finance, and they're going to need people. So you're going to have to go to them. Obviously, they're not going to be public about many of their products because, for instance, they want to have first mover advantage in a particular product. So in that respect, you're going to have to do a bit of mining and searching around and asking around and networking throughout that. What I can do is I can give you my email address, and of course everyone else has access to this email, and you're welcome to contact me directly. But I'll give you my email address, and I will be able to forward you specific names of individuals in Canada in relation to your background. So hopefully that can be helpful. So my email address is Atif. That's ATIF at ethicainstitute.com. You can always go to Ethica Institute, www.ethicainstitute.com, and send an email to the contacts email, and that'll also get to me. So hopefully that answers your question.